Hey, congratulations to former Cardinals manager Mike Shildt. Got that 2-year deal to manage the Padres. It's really great to see Shildt get a second chance. Not going to be an easy job, though. He's the fourth full-time managerial hire for A.J. Preller, top baseball executive of the Padres. The fourth full-time managerial hire since August of 2014. That's a lot of managers. You know, Preller is hyper-intense and controlling. He seems to have a problem establishing, collaborating with a managerial partner to share a vision. Plus, the Padres, as we know, they have an entitled clubhouse culture. It can be difficult, certainly a challenge for managers to deal with. I mean, Bob Melvin, widely respected manager, he lasted 1 year in San Diego, and it was kind of one of these things where it's like, you don't really have to fire me, but can I get out of my contract and I'll go? A.J. Preller was like, yeah, go. They hated each other, basically, and Melvin was immediately hired by the division rival San Francisco Giants. And the other thing that's going to be tough for Shildt, I'm just giving you a realistic assessment. I'm rooting for the guy to do really well. He's proven he can manage. And I think the way it fell apart for him personally in St. Louis is more about how you handle certain situations. But anyway, there is some wariness out there. And I done a lot of reading last night. You know, he's really respected for his knowledge and communication skills, but he's going to have to overcome, Mike Shildt's going to have to overcome some internal and external skepticism, that raises a few questions. They're kind of hanging out there. Did Preller hire Shildt because he knew he could control him? Will the players buy in if they believe Shildt is just an extension of Preller? When Shildt was working I mentioned this before, when Shildt was working in an advisory role over the last 2 seasons in San Diego, spent a lot of time in the home team clubhouse. In fact, some players and staff were surprised by how much he was in there. And this left some of the players wondering if Shildt was in there kind of as Preller's spy. So my point is, as he goes into this job, he's going to have to establish a few things and earn trust from his players. And Manny Machado is one for sure, because Manny Machado's former teammate and longtime friend from the Baltimore days, Ryan Flaherty, utility infielder, has been on the Padres staff, and it's not a secret that Manny Machado really wanted Flaherty to get that job. And I think Manny Machado is going to be a key personality in all this, because his guy didn't get the job. Shildt got the job. A lot of players are wondering, is he just AJ's lackey or something? And which is not fair, but I'm just telling you, there's some questions about it. And have fun, Shildt, because I was reading something Kevin Acee wrote at the San Diego Union Tribune, and it's amazing. In that organization is just being how exhausting he is, because he never stops, and he's always got 5,000 ideas, and he interferes, and he just drives managers crazy. So that's why I say have fun, Shildt. But you know what, Mike Shildt, about him, plus the Padres are financially challenged. I can maybe get back to this. This guy is a good manager. In fact, I didn't learn this until I read something that Kevin Acee wrote at the San Diego Union Tribune. Among managers in the history of baseball that have at least 300 games as a manager in the majors, Shildt's got the 7th best winning percentage, .559. And he won a manager a year, got votes in 2 other years. He's also worked closely with Preller, so at least he knows what to expect. Melvin wasn't very cooperative. So this is going to be a tough challenge, I think, for Shildt. But I'm really happy that he's getting another chance. He certainly deserves that. All right, without further ado, Bengie Molina joins us. Of course, Cardinals Spanish radio broadcaster, and I want to plug that again. The Cardinals started a Spanish radio network in 2023. They're already tied for the most Spanish affiliate stations in Major League Baseball. They have 7, including AM and FM in St. Louis, Jasper, Indiana, Sikeston, Missouri, and the Ozarks. And the reason Bengie's coming on, and I just talked about this for 3 minutes, but I'm going to repeat it again. He's helping lead a toy drive at 314 Sports Cards, 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet. Same plaza where the DMV is located. It's coming up on Saturday, December 2nd from 10 to 12. Bengie will be there in person signing autographs, taking pictures with anyone who brings a new unwrapped toy. And anyone who donates a toy can also enter to win special prizes, including baseball cards and Yadi or Molina signed items. This is really special, really, really special. You know, it tugs at your heart. All toy donations will be given to Sweet Celebrations. That's a nonprofit. They will deliver the toys on Christmas Eve to kids who are in St. Louis area homeless shelters. Why don't you do what you can to brighten that day for those children? More on the charity at www.sweet-celebrations.org/Christmas. Most requested toys from the kids: Lego, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Disney princesses, remote control cards. So I wanted to set the table, and now we say hello to Bengie Molina. Bengie, it's Bernie Miklasz. It's really cool of you to do this. Thanks for leading this toy drive, and thanks for giving us some time today. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm doing good. I'm excited for this day. Like you mentioned early, this is for the kids. I don't get anything out of it. What I get is satisfaction. What I get is joy. What I get is happiness from these kids, because these kids need it. They're in big need. So we're asking everybody out there that is listening to please touch their heart, to please go with us and help us out, raise as many toys as we can for this really, really amazing charity. And not only charity, they're taking care of these kids, you know. They are there on an everyday basis with these kids, hustling it out. And I love it, Bernie. I really do. I really do love doing this. I think it's a very, very special toy drive. I think it's going to be awesome. I hope that we have the St. Louis, area and wherever you are, because there's options too to buy toys for these kids. There are many, many options out there, and it's such a good cause, because like you said, some of these kids, they have nothing coming in on Christmas, as our kids probably open up some toys. These kids are having a hard time doing it. So it's a good cause, man. I hope we have a really good showing.
And I'm going to throw this in, and that's why I gave the address to Sweet Celebrations. And again, it's www.sweet-celebrations.org/Christmas. If for some reason, you can't attend the toy drive on December the 2nd, I know people travel. I know there's a lot going on. Please make a donation, a financial donation to those great people, and then they can make sure they get the toys in another way, just through your kindness with your financial donation. My wife and I are going to make a donation, and that's, I think, again, that's another way you can help. So we wanted to get that out because, Bengie, all you got to do to me is say, all I need to know is it's for kids, help poor kids that are being looked after and they're living in a homeless shelter. I'm done. That's all I need to hear. I'm ready to go. So,
let me tell you, man, every time I hear something for kids, it gets to me. It gets to me, and I want to help. So I'm just like you. You mentioned kids, and anytime I can make a kid smile, and I'm sure this is going to make a lot of kids smile coming in December 2nd. So I think anytime you can't do it, man, I think we should. And we're taking the initiative. Thank you to Ben Boyd, which is, if it wasn't for him, these things would not happen. He's in charge of the whole thing. He asked me if I wanted to do it, and of course, I'm 100% into that. I am so into helping kids. So if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this. But it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
Ben Boyd is my brother. That's what I really mean that. Like, my actual blood brother lives in Maryland. Ben Boyd is my brother here in St. Louis. I love him. We've been friends for a long time. He was my maybe my first producer long time ago, and I love him. And I'm so happy. And by the way, you can you can tease him a little bit. You can poke him a little bit. But I told him the other day, I'm really proud of the success he's had now working for the Cardinals radio network. If you want to take him off the pedestal a little bit and give him a hard time, you can do that. But no, we love Benjamin Boyd, that's for sure.
Oh man, he's done so great job, man.
Listen, man, you had a hell of a major league career. You won 2 Gold Gloves, 2 World Series rings, the Angels in 2002, the Giants in 2010, and then you were traded there. You were traded from the Giants to the Rangers mid-season. So I think I screwed that up, and I apologize. All 3 Molina brothers have 2 World Series rings. Jose, or as I know Yadi calls him, JoJo, in 2002 and 2009 for the Yankees. Yadi, of course, 2006, 2011, and Bengie. Listen, you coached for a while. You've had offers to do other things. You settled into St. Louis, and you helped them, the Cardinals, start up a Spanish language Cardinals radio network. And from what it sounds like, number one, you love the job, and number two, it's going very, very well. It's been a big success so far. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness, I can't even start, with that. I think we started with 2 games, man. 2 games, the last 2 games of the season in September in 16 or 15, somewhere back then. It's been so long. It's been 8 years, and we're very thankful for that. So it's been so nice, man, so nice, and people are receiving us, me and Polo, they are receiving us in St. Louis like one of their own, and that's what makes it so special. I know I have ties here. I have my brother Yadi to play for a great organization, and obviously he had a unreal career with the Cardinals, and I get that. I get that, and I'm going to be associated with that for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be Bengie Molina here. I'm going to be Yadi Molina's brother for the rest of my life in St. Louis. But I can take that, I can take that. I think it's super cool. I got to take advantage of that in a good way. I got to go out and do something for the community. Now that Yadi's retired, he's not around so much. So I'm here, and I want to take advantage of that, Bernie. I think it's really cool to do that for me. Not only for Yadi and for the people here in St. Louis, but for me, I think it's really, really a must-do here in St. Louis.
Well, you do an excellent job. You really, really do, and I know you're involved in some community stuff, so you reach out all the time to people and Cardinals fans, and it's been, believe me, it's been noticed. Now, about someone told me, and I don't know, it may or may not have been Ben Boyd, someone told me that you were just in Puerto Rico with Yadi in October. You took your 1 year. It was your son's 1-year-old birthday party. So what was that like? How's Yadi here doing?
Yadi's doing good. Yadi is a farm man now. Obviously, he's managing a Winter Bowl team over there. He's a manager. But his private life is being a farm. He wants to have horses. He already has cows, and he's going to have pigs and all that stuff. That's what Yadi wants to do. That's Yadi, So in his personal life and his world is being around those kind of animals and having, like sell butter and milk and things like that. That's what he wants to do. But right now he's managing a team in Puerto Rico. So to tell you the truth, man, he's getting closer and closer to becoming a manager in the United States. So, but that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing, taking care of his son, Yano, who's 15 years old. He's a beast. He's going to be one heck of a good player. He's a catcher. He's a pitcher. So he's taking care of all that. And not only that, Bernie, he's taking care of a lot of kids. He has an organization of kids that he takes care of. He's a manager for a 15-year-old group, but he also has from 5 years old, he has until 18 years old. They find him schools, they find him junior colleges or wherever to go. So he's very much involved in that. Plus, then you throw out the basketball team that he owns, and that's another thing that keeps him busy over there. So Yadi is in his own world. He's doing really good. He's helping the young kids, and who knows? We might see him close. We might see him over here in the big league someday.
Yeah, I was going to say, and again, man, I'm not pressing you on this, and you know that. I got respect for you, and I wouldn't do that. But I did want to just ask you the one thing. You know, there's been a lot of talk, and the Cardinals have acknowledged it. Yadi has acknowledged it. He'd like to, help out in the organization in 2024. Now, the full-time coaching job is a lot, and especially when you just explained very well about all the things that are taking up his time and his attention and his heart in Puerto Rico. And so like a bench coach job or whatever a job is where you're going spring training all the way to the end of the line, full-time, you got to be 100% ready for that because the commitment's huge. And I respect Yadi if, like, right now he's not quite ready to pull away from all those things you talked about. But do you hope that in 2024 that Yadi Molina will, just be with the Cardinals as an advisor, as a coach that will help out here and there, visit every so often? You know what I'm trying to talk about, that kind of role where you're not a full-time guy and you can still have plenty of time with your family down in Puerto Rico. What do you think?
I think it's really fair, man. It's really only fair to say that he's gonna be around because he wants to be around. Don't get it twisted, man. That guy wants to be in the big leagues. He wants to be teaching baseball. It doesn't matter where, doesn't matter how. He wants to be there. He wants to be part of a organization. Obviously, everybody knows that he wants to be with the Cardinals at some point because that's where he grew up with. That's why he kind of grew up with that organization all around. So that's a positive. I think a lot of people took Yadi's comments in Puerto Rico that he was ready, that he wanted to come over, and what I really believe is that he was being honest. Like, look, I want to be there. I want to be there, but he wasn't sure if he was going to do it or not. That's what I think from it. That's what I get from this. But I think in the future, like you said, Bernie, I think he's going to be settled. Whenever he's settled, man, you're going to see him around. You're going to see him around. He's going to be helping kids. He loves helping kids all around. Doesn't matter if he's in the minor. Doesn't matter if he's in the majors. He's in heaven right now, being a manager of Venezuela. Then he's being a manager of the Baseball Classic and all these things, man. I mean, he loved doing that stuff. So I won't be surprised if next year he takes a job somewhere, and hopefully here in St. Louis, because that's what I want.
Well, he's one of the greatest competitors and greatest leaders, and obviously one of the all-time great catchers that I've ever seen, and I've been around a long time, and have been writing and talking about the Cardinals since 1985, and he's amazing. And my point being is that he's got so much to offer, but I respect that there are some things there that he feels strongly about down at home in Puerto Rico. So it'll work out one way or the other. It'll work out, but man. It would be great to have him return back to Major League Baseball, but particularly in St. Louis. So we'll see how it plays out. Hey, Bengie Molina is with us, and boy, we're thankful for the time we have with him just to talk about all these things, and we'll get back to talking about the toy drive coming up on December the 2nd. But let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit. And one of the stories, and I don't have to tell you because you're well aware of it. And again, you're a distinguished catcher in the big leagues for a long time. The Wilson Contreras situation, and I know the Cardinals think that he's putting in a great effort and he wants to be better at calling games and pitch selection, things like that. When you saw Wilson in his first year, and it was a challenging year, and I felt bad for him in many ways, what do you think he needs to do, and how do you think he's been handling it?
I think that part of where he was more questioned, how's that? That's the part of the word where his job was questioned by a couple of players, which Bernie, I never had that happen to me before. I know that never happened to Yadi before. I know that never happened to Jose before. We never had a pitcher or pitchers or coaches or anybody come to us and question our job. Never. I don't remember one time that I had that happen to us. I don't think it's fair for Contreras. Contreras was very open to his heart. He was very open to help. He was very open to learn the pitching stuff, which is very difficult pitching stuff, as we saw last year. And he was very, very willing to do it. He was like really open, and it's really, really like messed up that we had to go through that.
Right.
And he took a lot out of that guy, Bernie. He took a lot out of Contreras and his power and his heart. You know, he took a part of his heart. You know, and it was tough for him. But after that, he took it. It's like a boxer took a punch to the chin and got knocked down a little, and then he came back up. That's what Contreras, that's the year that I saw from Contreras. He took a punch, a really difficult one. Took a punch, got back up, and said, you know what, guys? I'm going to show you what and who Contreras is. He caught really well down the stretch, right? After all that problem, he caught very well. And let's not talk about the offense.
Right.
He had
phenomenal.
An unreal, yes. He had an unreal offensive year for the Cardinals. So let's not forget that either. So I'm really, really anxious to see how his second year in St. Louis is going to be, because I thought the first year was awesome. Yeah, it was ups and downs, but individually, like a personal level, I thought it was a very good year for him. So I wonder how this year is going to be, and I'm very anxious to see that.
Another catcher question for Bengie Molina, a great catcher in his own right. And so I love to ask questions about catching. So with the Cardinals, they non-tendered Andrew Knizner, and I think we all know why. They really believe Ivan Herrera is ready to be in the major leagues. He's been on the rise. He really put everything together at AAA this year. And Cardinals are talking about all of a sudden he matured. He's figured stuff out. What is your opinion of what you know and what you've seen of Ivan Herrera?
Oh my goodness! We can sit here, Bernie, and sit down and talk about this kid the whole night. The whole night we could sit here. The improvement from that first time that we saw him to this second year was unreal. He had more. How do you say that? He had more confidence. That's the word.
Right.
He had more confidence in himself. He went out there and took it. The thing that letting Knizner go had nothing to do with anything else but, okay, Knizner is going to be a little bit more expensive. We have a young guy here that is not going to be that expensive, and he's going to be in a backup kind of situation, you know? So that's what I think is more. People, I hope they don't take it the wrong way, but they tell you this thing is baseball is cruel. It's a business, man, and when that business flag goes up, it is strictly a business, and we saw that with Knizner. We saw that with the non-tender contracts, you know. They like those people. They're really nice people. But, Bernie, when it's business, that's it, man. There's nothing to talk about, and you're gone, you know. You're gone because the other guy is going to do it, and he's going to do it for less money than you.
Knizner's going to land on his feet because he's good, and his bat came alive last year, and there are going to be a lot of teams that'll want him, so he's going to be fine. But you're right, it can be a cold business. Hey, Bengie Molina, I did want to ask you this. The Cardinals got more coming. I think they're going to probably my prediction is they're going to trade for a high-end starter, so to speak. But what did you think of the signings of Lance Lynn and Gibson? Gibson's been a really terrific number 4, number 5 starter type. Lynn's coming off that really tough year. And, we love Lance Lynn in here in St. Louis, as you know. He gave up 44 home runs, and he's itching to get back and prove that he's still got a lot left. So what would you expect? Number one, did you like the moves for the backside of the rotation? And number two, what would you expect in particular from Lance Lynn, who's coming here with a chip on his shoulder?
Well, let me tell you this. Everybody's kind of surprised a little bit because when they said they were going to go out for 3 starters, they didn't say 2. They said 3
right.
Starters. Actually, they never said. If they said it, I missed it, but they never said about anybody about being number one, number two. And if they said it, right now at his this time of Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, if I say his name right, they're not number one or number two right now. Obviously, I think they are like a three kind of guy, like you said, 3, 4, 5 guy. But the Cardinals, if they are stuck right now, you have Miklasz, you have Matt, you have Lynch, and you have this guy Gibson, who all of them had struggled last year. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be really, really difficult, and it could be something good, Bernie, because they can put it on their shoulders and say, "Hey, listen, we had a so-so last year, so let's put our boots, on and let's go and have a good year for the Cardinals." But I really do believe they need a couple pieces in the bullpen to help out. But I also believe they need a number one and number two starter to round it out.
We agree. We all agree. No doubt about it. I'm glad you mentioned the bullpen because they have to get after that too. Because with Helsley, when he pitches, he's fantastic. But this is not a shot at him. I'm not taking a shot. I mean, it just is like last year. You never were sure. I don't think Ali Marmol was ever quite sure like he'd be available on a given day. Like he thought some days he'd be available and then he wasn't. So they need another guy down there that can give them another high leverage guy. So I hope they do that. But do you think with all that went wrong last season, and it was stunning for how tough it was, do you think, and I know Bill DeWitt Jr. and John Mozeliak are talking about, no, their goal is to turn it around right away in 2024, but they have a lot of work to do, as you just said. Do you think it's realistic that they could turn it around again so quickly? Or do you think maybe it will take longer than that? I mean, just your opinion.
I think with extra pieces and the lineup, extra pieces on the field, extra pieces on the bullpen, extra pieces on the starting rotation, I think they can turn it around. I think they have a chance to turn it around. Now, if we have what we have last year, people struggling and people not having their best years, people are injured, there's no way we as a Cardinal, we're going to turn it around. There's no way. It's not happening. But if we add some pieces that can help out those areas and the lineups and all that stuff, then we might turn it around. Bernie, I'm a catcher. I'm an old school catcher. So I love the 2-1 games, 1-0 games. I love them, obviously, if we win. But we have to find pitching. We have to find pitching in the bullpen to help out the guys that we have there. We have to find pitchers in the starting rotation so we can trust them as durable and stuff like that to help out too. And then we have to take care of the defense too. So I'm about that. The offense, I think the offense, from people getting hurt and stuff not being in the lineup, the offense did pretty good, So we got to score runs to win. That's a fact. But we also have to pitch, catch, and close out the games. Helsley is a great piece. I love him. The thing is that, like you said, sometimes he is, sometimes he's hurt. So if he can prove that he can be durable, and a closer, Bernie, is also a guy that pitches 2-3 days in a row. Right. No doubt. That's what we need. A guy to close the game, but he also available tomorrow and the next day. I have two pieces, Josh Hader, and I have Neris. I forgot his name.
From Houston,
Neris from Houston. I mean, those two pieces in the bullpen with Helsley and Gallegos and all these guys that are there throwing gas. Come on, man. Well, I'll take those two. But
that's right.
Obviously, we got to sit and wait, right? This is the sitting and wait game right now.
Bengie Molina, a couple more things, and one of these things, I've been meaning to tell you this. It's kind of ridiculous. I never reached out to tell you this, but a long time ago, Joan Ryan's a friend of mine from newspaper days, and she told me, we were out in San Francisco, she said, I'm helping Bengie Molina on a book, and it's about his father. And I said, well, I can only imagine this project because I'm familiar, basically familiar with what a great man their father was. And when the day that book was available, it became available in 2015. It's called Molina, the story of the father who raised, three great catchers or three all-star catchers. Believe it or not, I was on vacation, and usually on vacation I'm kind of weird because I don't like to read. But I said, I got to read this. And I could not stop reading it. I just went almost straightway through. That book is phenomenal. Just getting an idea of how you and your two brothers grew up, the kind of saint your father was, what he did as a coach, not just his own sons, but that whole area. And listen, I met your mom one time, and I know she's a saint. But that book is phenomenal, and I think people, if you're looking for an idea that's a little, something you wouldn't think about, obviously, like at the top of your head, I'm telling you, you would love this book, and you can get it online. I mean, you go to Amazon or anywhere else, but Bengie pulled on my heart. It was absolutely fantastic. It was lovely. There were so many great stories, not only about your father, but about your two brothers and yourself. You had an amazing journey coming to America, and it was really tough for you to get where you wanted to go. It was really confusing. You didn't know any English, and you learned that. I mean, you had never caught before, and I mean, there's a million stories about your journey that makes people respect you even more than they do. So I just want to acknowledge that, because that was one of the best sports books and sports biographies I ever read, and I mean that sincerely.
Well, let me tell you this, Bernie. I thank you so much for. I mean, I still get people. It was a long time ago we did this book. John did an amazing job, obviously, on it, and captured so many things, so many little things. This is not a book about my numbers. This is not a book about my brother's numbers or wins and losses. This is a book about a father, about a mom who sacrificed so much for their kids to make them the men, human beings that they are today. And not only that, respectful human beings, very, very touching in Christian religion, very, very following the Lord, following God and stuff like that. It's not a book about numbers. It's a book about a relationship of a father with the son, how important my mom and my dad was to us. Because without my mom and dad, I don't think we'll be talking here. Bernie, I'm sorry, but you'll be talking to somebody else. But it was very important. We wanted to touch that. We want to touch that. Right now, we're working on a pitch. We're working on the pitch. Not necessarily all about the book. Some pieces are. But we're trying to make it into a movie, a very inspirational movie. So get the parents out there, get moms, get dads, get grandpas and grandmas. Go out there and support your kids, man. Go out there as much as you can. Dad, I got to work. Dad, come here. Let's play catch. No, I can't. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. No, take a time off to hang out with your kiddos. And that's why my dad and my mom sacrifice vacation sometimes. They sacrifice everything to make it happen. And we're lucky enough to have Lin-Manuel in our site that is probably going to be working with us in this movie. But it's going to be inspirational. It's not going to be anything about, it's going to be a little baseball because that's our life, but it's not going to be about baseball. It's going to be about life. It's going to be a very, very emotional, inspirational movie that we're trying to get out there for all the parents and everybody to take care of your kiddos, support them, take them to practice, stay there, be positive with them, be inspirational with them. So that's what we want from that movie. And thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for saying how much you love the book. I get a lot of people doing that. And that's so awesome to us, so awesome to Joan. And hopefully we can capture that same thing when we had an opportunity to make it into a movie. That would be so cool.
It'll be wonderful. And by the way, I apologize because for some reason couldn't find the exact title, which is stupid because I love the book so much. But it's Molina, the story of a father who raised an unlikely baseball dynasty. Can I ask you one more thing personal? And since we talked about your dad and your mom, and I know what wonderful family you have. We're at the holiday time of the year. Can you give us an idea of what it was like growing up and what the holidays were like for the three brothers with that incredible mother and father that you have back then? You know, when obviously your dad was still with you, but just your family and all, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. What were the holidays like for your family?
A lot of enjoyment, a lot of joy around us, a lot of cousins, and people don't understand this, but if it wasn't for our cousins, for our uncles and aunts, for our grandpa, from grandma, we don't become this man that we became, you know, because they are really a tough part on us when we were growing up. So I think our Christmas are the best in Puerto Rico. A lot of partying, and the party is not like go out and party in San Juan. You know what I'm saying? The party is more like a home. You pay, okay, this weekend we're going to Jose's house. Next weekend we're going to Yadi's house. Next weekend we stay at my mom's. Next weekend we go here, my uncle, my aunts, my cousins. And that's how Christmas for us is. A lot of music, a lot of dancing, a lot of playing dominoes, a lot of karaoke, which is pretty bad to say, but we don't have any Ricky Martin in our family. So we're so cool because we gather together, we joke around, we laugh until freaking 3 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m. We're still laughing, we're still enjoying ourselves. We go home, we rest, and we turn the page and come back and do it again. So it's a lot of that, and a lot of unity, a lot of people that are always there and hugging and joking and telling stories from the past and telling stories about ourselves or themselves or growing up and here's my aunt, or, you know, that's our Christmas.
I can only imagine. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That was rude of me, and I didn't mean. Sorry. I can only imagine
no worries.
I can only imagine what the food was like too, because I just have visions in my head. I'm getting hungry thinking about it.
If you have a chance to talk to Benjamin Boyd, my boss, you know, which they do a great job, by the way. I wanna mention this, Bernie. You can ask him about my food and Puerto Rican food and see what he said, okay? But real quick, we do a good job here because we started with Dan Farrell and Carroll. Then you go down to Kyle Dinius. Then you go to Tane. Then you go Selena. Then you go, I hope I didn't miss anybody because I feel bad. And Megan and all those ladies and guys that work out behind us, Ben Boyd, and make it happen for us in Spanish. You know? La Tremenda 880 AM. It's a big step for them to do this with us. So
right.
This is a whole type. The whole group is a very a nice group. They get along and they want to get better at it, and we want to share more places. You know, we don't want to just be what we have right now. We want to go on the road and do some games. We want to be able to do all that stuff. Obviously, you have to wait for the approval of the boss, you know, on the top, but we're willing to do all that, and that's why it makes it so important for us to stay together as a team. Same with the Cardinals, Bernie. If they want to be successful next year, well, first of all, we need obviously to add a few pieces, right? We're still waiting on that. But if we want to be successful, you have to stick together. You got to stay away from pointing fingers. You have to. It doesn't matter who, coaches, players, trainers, whatever. All you have to do is stick together, man. Stick together. Stick to winning that day. If they stick together to winning that day and they forget about yesterday, they forget about what's going to happen tomorrow, I bet you anything they'll be really good team. They have to stick together and fight together through the losses and fight together through the wins. So that's what I think they need, man.
No doubt. Bengie, I'm going to say goodbye now, but just so you know, as soon as I say goodbye, I'm gonna give all the information again about the toy drive at 314.
Yeah, don't forget that, man. Yeah. That's another very important thing. We need to stick together here in the community, right?
Right,
we need to help out all these kids that are in need, Bernie. We need to help them out. We need to make sure that you guys are there that December 2nd, man, because it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really nice to be getting those toys. And you know what? Every time somebody drop a toy off with me, it will be awesome because it's one more toy, one of these kids that are in big needs, big needs from sweetcelebrations.org. I mean, these guys are needing the toys. And if every time you guys are gonna drop a toy, it's gonna be a really, really happy Christmas for one of them.
Bengie, you're a hell of a man. Thanks for doing this interview. I loved it. It was one of my favorites of the year. So thank you so much, sir, and we'll talk again.
Oh yeah, thank you, Bernie, for having me. Let's go Cards, right?
That's right. I'm with you, man. I want to cover another. I want to write about another World Series before I get too old. You're right. No doubt about it.
Yes, I need another ring. I don't have many of them.
Well, happy holidays to you and your entire family.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays to all of you.
All right, that is our friend Bengie Molina. How great is he? How fantastic is he?